Hi, everyone. This is Gene Trowbridge with the law firm of Trowbridge Nieh, and we are in the business of being syndication attorneys. When you're raising money from a group of people to start a business or buy a piece of real estate, you need to contact a syndication securities attorney who can help you with your work. Make sure you stay out of jail and do this right. So here's how you can contact us. Our phone number, our website, and the information on how to get to our YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to talk to you about 4 questions investors should ask. And these are questions that investors should ask before they get too far into the due diligence of a specific property that the syndicator may be looking for investors for. So 4 questions. So in my business, in my days in the securities business, I was a former syndicator. For 10 years, I raised money myself. We had 16 syndications. We raised money primarily to build self-storage facilities. At the height of the business, I sent out 1,676 K1s in 1 year to our investors, and that was big enough for me. So I went to law school at 45 to become a securities attorney, and that's what I've been doing for the last 30 years. I've been a real estate broker, CCIM instructor for 40 years. I'm the author of a book. It's in its 4th edition. It's called It's a Whole New Business, and I will tell you how you can get a free copy of the book at the end of this video. And in my spare time, I'm a runner. I call myself an old runner. I started running at 60. I ran my first half marathon when I was 60, and I run 36 half marathons so far. And this year, I'm expecting to run 2 more. And that keeps me going. So here's the first question I think you should ask. Say to the sponsor, if I give you my money, what happens if something happens to you? And certainly this is a question about continuity and the protection of your money and the investment. A lot of things can happen to sponsors. I've been around a long time, and yes, during COVID and even before, we have seen some sponsors unfortunately die, but we've seen sponsors go bankrupt, get involved in lawsuits that don't involve particularly the offering, but it gets all wrapped up in the lawsuit. Divorces. I even had one client who hit his head on a rock while he was skiing and ended up as a quadriplegic and really spent 6 months in traction in a Utah hotel. So there's a lot of issues on continuity. And what's important is if I'm just the individual managing member and something happens to me, what happens to the project? The operating agreement says I have authority to sign things. No one else does. You can't have the property manager step in and do it because they don't have the authority vested in the operating agreement. You can't have the investors step in because they didn't want to be managers in the first place. So we won't put together a deal or write the paperwork for someone who comes to us and says, Gene, I'm going to be the managing member and I want to do it by myself. We just won't do that because it's too risky for the investors. So the first thing you need to find out is what's the structure of the managing member. There need to be at least 2 people in the operating agreement to carry on business and give you the continuity that you need. And one of the questions might be, who's the second person? We did have one situation during COVID where the first person was quite an active real estate syndicator and a lot of practical experience, and put his spouse into the second position. And unfortunately, he died. And now the spouse, who was supposed to run everything, really didn't know what was going on and didn't know how to do that. So we had a problem. You can always vote to replace the managing member and put in a new one, but who's it going to be? Another issue that you have is if you go to the lender and there's only one managing member, only one person running things, the lender may very well require that you have what's called a springing member. A springing member will be a corporate executive from some corporation who, as soon as the last member of our manager entity is incapacitated, will step in. Who is this person? Probably a credible person, but anyone knows. So that might not be the best thing. So just get yourself convinced that this manager has taken into consideration a serious discussion of continuity. And so you syndicators out there, put a plan together for continuity. Question number 2, have you done this before? Of course, this question goes toward experience. I've heard panel discussions, and I go to a lot of events where some people sit up there and say, well, I would never, ever invest with someone who hasn't done a syndication before. Well, when I did my first syndication, I had never done one before, and I ended up doing 16 of them. Everyone has never done one before. So what you have to do, you have to find out, I think experience comes in 2 things. What experience does a person have in the business of what the syndication is? Is it a real estate deal? Is it an office building? Is it an apartment building? Is it an RV park? Is it a business? We last year helped someone put together a group to buy a minor league hockey team. Well, did that person have any experience in that? Yes. Put together a business to help someone do fiber optics cable, running cables into apartment buildings so that the tenants can have high-speed internet in their units. Well, was there experience there? Yes, there was. So experience in the asset in which we're going to invest is important. The other type of experience is, have you ever run a syndication where there's a bunch of people, and are you taking care of the people as far as quarterly reports and having client communications with them? So there are 2 ways. And I think what you can find is you can find a successful real estate person who is trying to do their first syndication, and hopefully the second person they bring in with them has some experience in the syndication side of it, or vice versa, find someone who's expert at raising money, but now they just need some product experience. So I think you should ask that question. Once again, just because they've never done a syndication is no reason not to invest with them. Typically, as a sponsor, our first deal is always full of investors who know us and know what we've been doing and would love to. An opportunity to do what we do. With me, I was a successful real estate broker. I owned some properties myself, and I had a lot of people who would like to invest with me if I brought an opportunity to them. So that's question number 2. Question number 3, how much of your own money are you investing? Skin in the game, okay? So we like to have a sponsor, a managing member, or their affiliates who are investing money in the transaction exactly alongside of the investors. Now, I used to think skin in the game only meant how much cash is the investor bringing in. Well, that isn't the case. Today, investors are having to sign mortgages. They're having to sign notes, and every note has some personal responsibility, the personal recourse in it. And so skin in the game would be, are they signing the note? Are they putting up some money? Let's say the fund that you're looking at to invest in has a minimum investment of investors of $50,000. Does that mean that the manager or the manager's entity needs to put in $50,000? No, there's no rule on that. It's kind of a marketing issue, and it's kind of a comfort issue for the investors. How much skin in the game is enough to make you feel that the investor is going to earn money as you earn money and go right along with you, and not just make money all up front and not worry about what's going on in the offering? The 4th and last question is, what happens if I need my money back? And this happens to be liquidity for the investor. You know, if a project is 5 or 7 years, there's bound to be some life incident for some investor. Maybe it's you. What have you had in your life in the last 6 or 7 years that would make you worry about liquidity? Well, the way we solve that is we attorneys draft operating agreements that have clauses in it about liquidity. In the operating agreements that Jonathan and I draft, it's Articles 11 and Article 12. Article 11 talks about voluntary liquidity. I want to sell my interest. I want to give my interest to my kids. Involuntary liquidity is Article 12. Oh, I'm in the middle of a lawsuit and everything's going to get tied up. I need to get my money back here. I died. I'm sick. I need my money. What plans does the operating agreement foresee as far as creating liquidity? And a well-drafted operating agreement has plenty of ways to provide liquidity for you, but you need to ask the sponsor before you get too far into this to see what the liquidity provisions are and see how they work, and maybe have the sponsor share with you what the articles in their operating agreement are, at least verbally, so that you're comfortable. So we're talking about continuity, experience, skin in the game, and liquidity. Those are the 4 questions an investor should ask. Now, in our book, which you can get a free PDF of the contents of the book by clicking on the QR code. I also think at our website, you're going to be able to, just for the cost of shipping, be able to get a hard copy of the book. Of course, the book's available on Amazon, and I've actually narrated the book, and you can find it on Kindle. So go to our website and get the free copy of the book, and it has chapters that cover all the topics that are on the left-hand side of the screen. And this is the 4th edition. I always update the edition when there are material changes in the marketplace, and the last 2 times the material changes have come in the world of securities laws. So that's what this is. This issue is all about the latest change in the securities laws. So once again, this has been Gene Trowbridge. Thanks for watching. Be sure to click register for our YouTube channel. You can call us at our main number. You can email us, get a free consultation. You just email the website and sign up for either Jonathan or myself to give you a consultation. It's free, and we have all sorts of educational information on our YouTube channel. So I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching.